a huge 38-14 win on the road against West Alabama. How did these Rams really step up in that second half and really run away with the victory?
Yeah, we just executed better in the second half. The first half we had some hiccups along the way, but that's kind of be expected a little bit week one. And we responded well in the second half. We really did. Offensively, it was just a matter of time. We saw things. We dropped a few footballs. We had 2 interceptions in the first half, and quite frankly, both of them went through receivers' hands, and had an opportunity to be caught. One of them for a touchdown. Going right before halftime. So, we just had to settle down and execute. Defensively, we did what we did. What we've always done the last couple of years. Coach Clark had them ready to play, and his staff. So played great defense all the way through, and then second half really got going and focused on executing what we're supposed to do. Things were there. Things were open. What we saw in the run game was open. We just hadn't executed yet, and it was a matter of time. And got that going, I think, and started off 1-0.
Gardner had 292 passing yards with 2 touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. How has having the experience of a transfer player in that quarterback position really helped settle these newer guys in those newer positions?
Well, it really does help. He's an outstanding football player. He's got Division II experience. He came from a Division II institution and came here, and he has a ton of reps built in, and just learning our system and getting him comfortable with what we do has been huge. But he's a great leader. He's not very vocal, but he is a young man that goes out there and competes every day, and our players rally around that. And you saw what he's capable of doing. He can throw the vertical. He's very good at that, but he's good at the check downs and getting the ball out. And I think we learned firsthand a little bit that you better be ready to catch the football when it's thrown to you. So, but just excited for him and to him to get those opportunities and do a great job in his first start as a Ram, where it was huge.
Braden Wilcox had 83 rushing yards and a touchdown, but you still had 3 other guys in double-digit rushing. Then we go to Kyle Bradford with 98 receiving, but 6 other guys with double-digit receiving yards. It seems like the love was spread out during this game. Is that kind of the plan moving forward, to just keep the game spread out? And
it is. We'll rotate quite a few running backs. We got guys that can carry the football. We're blessed there. Same with the receiver position. We got basically everybody back off the last 2 years at receiver. So guys that have played a lot of football for us. And Coach Kilmer does a great job. Coach Johnson with the receivers as well, of getting that ball spread out. We have a lot of weapons. You want to utilize all of them the best you can, and keep those guys happy catching the football too. But the one thing that you really saw on film is how our receivers downfield, they were blocking. They were doing unbelievable things in the blocking game too, in the run game. So just a veteran group, excited about it, and the more you can spread the ball out with the running backs as well as receivers, keeping people healthy and doing that kind of stuff. We want to play a lot of games this year, not just the 10 on our schedule. So we want to play more games, and keeping people healthy and spreading that ball around is something that we'll plan to do the rest of the year.
What are some things y'all are focusing on as y'all welcome Colorado School of Mines here for the first home game of the 2023 season? Well,
we know what they're about. They know what we're about in football. We've played them. This will be the 4th time in the last 2 years that we've played them, and so just focusing on us. Focusing on what we do to get better each week. There's a lot of things coming from the West Alabama game that we need to get better at, and that's something we'll continue to do. But as for game plans and execute and that kind of thing, it's pretty much done on that part of it. Everybody knows what we do, and we know what they do. So just staying focused on us, getting better this week in practice, and staying locked in on special teams, which I thought we did a great job, minus the one field goal we got blocked. But that was something. They had 12 guys in the field, so that's going to happen sometimes. But just things like that. Just trying to get better and better each week, and go 1-0 each week and on Saturdays.
And then my last question, I know I named quite a few guys here, but what are some other Rams that we should maybe keep an eye out come Saturday night? Well,
I'll tell you on defense, we had 5 takeaways on that. Amie Williams was in the D-line. He actually had an interception and dropped back. He dropped off the line and caught an interception. And just guys like that. We just have so many people, Leighton English, guys that just run through. We have so much depth in the D-line. Criovani just did an outstanding job of playing his position as well. Josh Booker-Brown, Eric Rasco. Just guys that stepped in and did great jobs for us. And, those are the names you're going to hear a lot of, on the defensive side. Offensively, I'm going to give some credit to our O-line. I thought they just stepped up and did a really good job in the second half. And It's going to be a big time focus this week on, making sure we can both run block and pass protect. We need to be able to do both, and those guys will be challenged in the O-line this week to do that. And so those are some of the names. Defensively, I'm so proud of the way that our kids played. It's kind of getting old hat in the sense that you just expect that every single week, and that's hard to do. That's a lot of pressure putting on a defense, but at the same time, they're up to it and they want that challenge. And like I said, Coach Clark always gets those guys ready to go.
Yeah, so Coach, obviously, like you mentioned already earlier, you guys kind of struggled in the first half offensively. But then when your offense got started in the second half, you found the big plays. How do you find those big plays earlier in the game?
Well, it's a process. A lot of those plays that you run, that you hit long stuff, are off of other plays. So you got to run certain things to set certain things up, and that's part of it. But I think we could have had a few of those bigger plays in the first half if the execution was there. We ran the plays. It's just a matter of executing them on that part of it. I think it was just a matter of time of getting everybody controlled, calmed down a little bit and lined up to play. So, it's just the execution, coming out ready to go right away, and that part. And I think the biggest, you hear all the time, the biggest improvement you're going to make is from week 1 to week 2, because you're going to see a lot of things that you did right and wrong, and hopefully fix those things and get out there and execute.
Yeah, obviously, you talked about Gerald. He also had that fumble that was, I think, returned for a touchdown. What kind of gave you the confidence? He was kind of struggling a little bit there in the first half, and obviously some receivers dropped balls that led to interceptions. What kind of gave you the confidence, keep him in the game and stick with him until, obviously
Sure.
exploded in the second half?
Well, I think that the quarterback position is such a unique position. It really is in football. You can't have those guys looking over their shoulder when they're going to get pulled or something like that. And he has proven himself through spring ball and through camp that he's our #1 quarterback. And you got to ride at those guys and play with them. There's times, we rotated a few quarterbacks in some different packages we have with both Braden and Chad, and they came in and did an awesome job in what we asked them to do out of the quarterback position. But there's no doubt who the #1 quarterback is at Angelo State, and you just got to ride at those guys a little bit. He'll be the first one to tell you, catch the snap, right? When it snapped to you, it just hit him. He was looking to hand the ball off before he had the ball in his hands. So, there's going to be some mistakes, but you're going to benefit from your players having their back, and they understand that you have their back. That you're going to make mistakes at times, and you got to make sure you take care of those guys, and that position is just unique. You got to make sure that they're not uncomfortable in the sense that they think they're going to get pulled every time they make a mistake, because that's not the case.
Yeah, what's the one thing that you learned from this game that you need to take into next game in order to get the win? Well,
it's execution, starting fast, going out and executing what you do. And I felt like we did that. We really executed when you execute a play, all 11 got to do their job, and when you got 9 or 10 doing it, whether that's a dropped ball, whether that's a, missed protection, a back not making the right cut or something like that, there's a lot that has to go in for a perfect play. So just maintaining some good execution to it and being consistent in what we're doing is the biggest thing. On offense. Defensively, keep doing what we're doing and continue to tackle well and do those things, and it gives us a chance to win.
Hey Coach, what's your takeaway of the first week of Lone Star Conference, and what do you think of UTPB? Are you looking over their shoulder?
Well, it's Lone Star was a good week for the Lone Star. 2 of them played Division I teams, so they're going to have struggles when you go play FCS on that part of it. But overall, I think it was a good week for that part of it. There's a lot of new staff in the Lone Star Conference. West Texas A&M with Coach Lynn being back there. So just some turnover on that part of it. So I'm excited about where the conference is as a whole. There are some big wins this weekend on that part of it, and hopefully, once we get in Lone Star play, we can take care of business there.
And did you build up the schedule for October 7th, or is it still bye week?
It's a bye week.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
And then, Coach, just a couple from me.
Yep.
I know, obviously, in football, a big part of the game is, making sure that you implement your identity and kind of go by that on a game-by-game basis, right? This week, or this past week, first half wasn't really Angelo State football, but the second half seemed like it was. Kind of piggybacking off of Shelby's question,
Yeah.
What was the biggest shift in kind of finding your identity and implementing that in the second half?
Well, I think we know the identity. It was just a matter of executing it. It was a matter of just it's kind of one of those things that we stopped at halftime and we said, we're down 3 points, or whatever it was, 4 points, and we didn't play very well. We knew it was a matter of time before, if the execution got to where we expected it to be, things were going to go well for us. I just think it was a part of that feeling out process, and the execution is the biggest part of it. You got to go out there and, we didn't change anything. We didn't change the play calls. We didn't change protections or whatever. We didn't change anything. We just went out and did what we were supposed to do and played better, is what it came down to. So that was the biggest thing, just going out and being consistent on each and every play. And we ask our kids all the time, or tell them, you don't have to go be, a hero here. Just go out and do what you're supposed to do. And if you do that, we'll have a great chance of winning football games.
Absolutely. Just a couple more for me. We were talking about Coach Prime a little bit earlier before the interview.
Yeah.
And one thing that he does, or he has 3 kickers that, can go from different ranges. It's something for you. You have 3 different quarterbacks that can do a little bit of different things. So how much fun is that for you from a coaching perspective to kind of be able to dabble with different, play styles and stuff like that?
Well, I love it. I love it in the sense of what we do with them. Both those younger quarterbacks that got in and played can really move around with their feet as well, but they have big-time arms. So they're dangerous at a lot of things that we do with it. So just keeping them active, and the future's bright in that room at quarterback. It really is. So having all those, it's a nightmare for defensive coordinators, preparing for that. As a former defensive coordinator, I hated it, having to prepare for 2 or 3 different guys that bring in different packages and what we do and stuff. So excited for all of them. Those 2 guys, when they got in there and did what we asked them to do, they did well, and it was fun watching them run around.
Absolutely. And then just my last one for you. A big key to this press conference has been like execution. Is that something that this week in practice maybe that you're going to kind of emphasis on, is kind of just starting out quicker than you normally do? Or
Yeah.
Is there what goes into actually executing earlier on in this game?
I think it's confidence of knowing the game plan, what you're doing, getting enough reps throughout the week and doing that. And then the adjustments, right? You got to adjust to things you see. We prepare all week for what we've seen on film, and if there's something here or there that's different, whether it's a defensive front or an offensive formation, right? All those things can end up being a little bit different. How you handle that and how you adjust to things or something that can help you as well. Having 3 games going into this game with mine, this being game number 4 in the last 2 years, there's not going to be a whole lot of switch ups, I don't think, from what they do and what we do. But that part of it, just going out and adjusting to anything that's a little bit different from what you practiced against, and hopefully going out and being comfortable in the game plan and executing what we're asking them to do.
Great. Thanks, Coach.